tight hips, you are complaining about them. When you squat down, when you sit down, when you stand up, your hips are sore and stiff. So naturally, what do? You would think of stretch out your hips so that it would feel better. But weeks later, you find out that your hips are still stiff. Nothing has changed. You might feel better for that short period of time, but then your stiff hips keeps coming back. Still restricted, still uncomfortable. So what is going on? Why does stretching your hips not work? Why does it in fact fail you? And more importantly, what does work? What releases the stiffness of your hips forever? Stretching isn't bad. It is often misunderstood. Tightness of your hips doesn't mean that your muscles are shortened. Sometimes tightness and stiffness of your hip is your nervous system saying, hey, I don't feel stable and I don't feel safe in this position. Now your brain is an amazing tool and it is constantly analyzing and scanning the environment in your body to see what is safe and what is not safe. So if your hip joint feels unsafe and unstable in a certain position, that's what's going to create the stiffness and the tightness that you might feel. That is a protective mechanism of your nervous system and your brain. In other words, your hips might be feeling stiff and sore because your nervous system is trying to protect your body from further harm. So when you keep stretching and stretching aggressively, it just doesn't work. You might temporarily improve the pain and also the range of your hips, but the stiffness and the tightness is always going to come back if you don't treat the root cause of the problem. The first reason on why your hips might be tight is that it might be weak. Now your glutes, also known as your buttocks, they are the biggest muscles in your body and they have a few important roles. The role of your glutes is to control the movements when you are standing and walking, to stabilize your pelvis and also to extend your hips. However, our modern lifestyle has changed the way we move and the way we are using our glutes. An interesting fact is that if you sit down for too long, you can lose the activation of your glutes over time. This is also known as glute inhibition. And when your glutes stop doing what they are supposed to do, that's when other muscles have to kind of step in. Your hip flexors, your lower back muscles, the hamstrings. And what is the result of this? It is the feeling of stiffness and tightness. Whereas the real issue might be you need some strength and control back in your pelvis and hip regions, especially your glutes. The second reason is you have reduced mobility and reduced range of motion because you don't have control over that range. So your body just does not feel safe in that range. Hence the stiffness and the tightness that you might be feeling. Mobility isn't just about flexibility. It's also about having the strength to go through that range. And if your brain doesn't feel safe in a certain position or range, then stiffness and tightness might come up. The reason is because your brain wants to limit access to that position to keep you safe. So the question is, can you go into that range safely and comfortably? If the answer is no, then your brain is going to try to protect you through stiffness and tightness so that you don't push past that point of no return, causing a serious injury. Reason number 3 is the modern lifestyle that we are living. More sitting and less movement. Your hip is a ball and socket joint and it has a lot of movement. It is designed for hip flexion, extension, abduction, external rotation, and internal rotation. When we sit down for too long and we don't walk and we don't move the way our ancestors do, our hips are going to get stiff and tight just because if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So over time, the unused range, they just kind of disappear. Not because they are impossible to do, but we just haven't used them and they're just untrained. And when we lose our movements, especially hip internal rotation, we lose the efficiency and the biomechanics of our normal walking patterns. And that's going to create more pain in your other joints, such as your lower back or the knees, because the other joints, they have to kind of pick up the slack and the load because of the reduced range of motion that you might have in your hips. So what can you do? So there are 3 things I want you to focus on and that you can do right away. Number 1 is to improve the strength of your hips. Number 2 is to improve the control of your hips. And number 3 is to have more movement in the full range. And here are the 3 exercises to help you with that. Exercise number 1 is your glute bridges. They are great for activating and strengthening your glutes, as the title says, And this is going to take the pressure off all the other muscles around your joints, hip flexors and the lower back muscles. This movement is going to help you to rebuild your hip extension strength, and this is how you are going to do it. Firstly, you're going to lie down on the floor with your feet hip width apart, and then what you are going to do is you can put your arms out by your side to help you for balance. You're going to drive through your heels, so dig your heels onto the ground, and you're going to squeeze your glutes, bringing your bum off the floor, and keep squeezing your glutes at the top. Try to hold for 5 seconds if you can. Now, your back, you don't want to be arching too much. You want to maintain a neutral spine position. When you've done the 5-second hold, then you're going to lower yourself down nice and slow. I want you to do 10 repetitions. And then when you can do that, then we go on to single leg glute bridges. This is where you are only going to be pushing off one leg on the ground to help you bring your glutes off the floor. This is going to be hard, and this is going to require a bit more pelvis control. Try not to let your pelvis tilt one way or another. Try to keep it neutral. Now, the thing is to focus on your control of movement. Don't do this too quick because we want more control and more strength. Give this exercise a go because your glutes, when they get stronger, it's going to help to stabilize your pelvis and reduce the spinal stress in your lower back during walking and lifting. Exercise number 2 will be your 90-90 rotations. I love this exercise. This is going to work on your hip internal and external rotations on both hips. You gotta remember that your hip is a ball and socket joint. It's designed to rotate, so there's quite a bit of rotational movement in your hips. And when you stop rotating the ways that your hips have been designed to rotate, that's when stiffness comes into the hip joint. This is how you're going to do it. You're going to get on the floor, you're going to sit down in the 90-90 position with your knees and hips like this. Rotate slowly side to side with your legs and feel for the rotation of your hips. Keep your chest upright, don't slouch over, and put your hands on the floor if you have to support your weight. This is the easiest version. Then when that becomes comfortable, I want you guys to take your hands away. This is going to increase the tension in your hips. Now, the next progression that you can do after this is to lift your bum up and bring your pelvis forward. This is going to improve the strength and the control of the muscles that is around your hips. So this is a great progression exercise that you can do. Again, 10 repetitions on each side. Exercise number 3 is the deep squat. This is a fundamental human movement. This is something that our ancestors did, and this is also known as the Asian squat because you will see many people in Asia still doing the deep squat because it is a fundamental movement. It is important for our hip, knee, and ankles mobility and strength. You know, children can do it effortlessly, but now adults are struggling with it because we are sitting down too much and we are not using our hips and our body the way it was designed to be moved. And to be honest, people blame on aging. Oh, I'm just getting older, so that's why I can't do this. But that is not the truth. The truth is you just slacked off and you stopped moving your body, you stopped taking care of it, and what you don't use, you're going to lose. So here's how you're going to do it. You are going to put your feet shoulder width apart and you're going to squat down in the lowest position that you can. The lower, the better. Now, sometimes it is going to be uncomfortable to hold this position, and if that is the case, then stand up again to let your body reset. If your ankles mobility is limited, this is going to limit your deep squats mobility. So what you can do with this is put an object on your heel to elevate it so that you can squat down further. But the goal later on is to get rid of this object so that you can do it naturally on its own. And you want to be doing this for at least a 60-second hold if you can, or accumulate it over time, and repeat this for about 5 reps. So that's 5 minutes accumulation on a daily basis. When you get better, you want to be increasing this to 10, 15, even 20 minutes if you can. This is a very important position and it is going to improve your joints mobility big time. So tight hips are rarely due to the shortening of your muscles. They're usually a combination of weakness, lack of control, and loss of movement patterns. Stretching alone is not going to help you with that. It's going to help you in the short term, but not in the long term. What you need to do is to focus on strength and control in the full range of motion. When you build strength in that new range, and when you can control your movement, your brain and your nervous system now stops protecting your hip joint. It now allows your body to move in that range comfortably and safely. Your body doesn't resist change. It responds to the signals that you give it. Okay, so stretching sends, yeah, okay, let's stretch it out and feel good about ourselves. But strength and movement sends a much stronger signal to your body. So if your hips feel tight, don't just stretch them, but rather train them with strength and mobility work, because a strong hip is a mobile hip. If you guys like this video, make sure you click that thumbs up button and share this video with anyone who you might think might benefit from this. It's gonna help to support us to just reach out to more people and help more people to regain confidence back in their body. Hey, give me a comment on which exercise you think that you are going to start first and let me know why. And I'm going to catch you guys next time in my next video. Guys, take care. Remember to move stronger and live better. Let's go.